In this video, I will show you how to solve exponential equations like this one with multiple terms. The bottom line is going to be factoring. We have to solve this by factoring. So we can factor this. I know it doesn't look like a normal factoring problem, but if you squint real hard, it starts to. E to the 2x power. Any guesses how I might break that down in the two different parentheses? E to the x and e to the x. All right, e to the x times e to the x would be e to the 2x, so you can split it down that way. Okay, now we're looking at the 130. If you had to factor 130, what's the first thing that pops into your head? 13 times 10, 10 and 13. All right, so let's go for that, 13 times 10. And then we're looking at the middle, and we're seeing the 3, so it's looking good right away. Inner plus outer must equal the middle. Inner, I have 13 e to the x power. Outer, I have 10 e to the x power. If I want a positive 3, I want the 13 to be positive and the 10 to be negative. So that means this needs to be positive, and this needs to be negative. Also, positive 13 times negative 10 is negative 130, so we're looking good so far. So as always, once you have factored it, you can set the factors equal to 0. So this will be e to the x plus 13 equals 0, and e to the x minus 10 is equal to 0. So subtracting 13 from both sides gives me e to the x equals negative 13. And adding 10 to both sides gives me e to the x is equal to 10. Now one of these we can already tell is going to have no solution. Keep in mind that e is just a constant. E is approximately equal to 2.72. So which one of these just is impossible? The negative 13. There's no way you're going to raise a positive number to any power and end up with a negative number, right? If you raise it to a negative power, it's just going to put it in the denominator, but it'll still be positive. So this has no solution to it. So that's going to be extraneous. But we can keep going with the other side. If I were to blindly use the log form that we usually do, I might write log base e and then switch these other two and put the 10 over here and the x over here. But that's ridiculous. Why is that ridiculous? Yeah, this is natural log. Never write log base e. All right, I just did that for the kids who struggle. So this would be natural log 10 is equal to x. So this is your final answer. So probably on your test you will not be allowed to use a scientific calculator. So you would just write this for your final answer. If somehow it turns out that you are allowed to use a calculator, you could just plug this in your calculator. Can anybody do that and just give me the decimal for the sake of completeness? Give me 4 decimal places, please. All right, so this is what it would be, decimal approximation. All right, number 12. Of course, we need to subtract 6 from both sides before we get started. So this becomes 6e to the 2x power minus 5e to the x minus 6 equals 0. And again, we must factor this thing down. Okay? If you already figured it out, don't tell me the answer. Let me just guess. So my first try for 6 would be 2 times 3. So 2e to the 2x power times 2e to the x power, not 2x, times 3e to the x power. If this doesn't work out, I will go back and do 6 and 1 instead. But I'm going to try this first. Now, looking at the 6 over on the end, I'll try 2 and 3 first. However, I will not put the 2 with the other 2. The previous step has no common factor, so there should be no common factors inside the parentheses either. So that speeds up my process. So I won't go 2 and 3. I will try 3 and 2. Inner plus outer must equal middle. Right now, inner, I have 9 e to the x power. Outer, I have 4 e to the x power. This is looking promising because I need the middle to be negative 5 e to the x power. If I had a negative 9 and a positive 4, that would make negative 5. So if I put a negative here on the 3, that'll make the negative 9. If I put a positive here on the 2, that'll make the positive 4 outer. And negative 3 times positive 2 is negative 6. So, kabam! We did it. Okay, that's how we factor. Now we will set the factors equal to 0. So we will have 2e to the x power minus 3 equals 0. And 3e to the x power plus 2 equals 0. Adding 3 to both sides gives me 2e to the x equals 3. Subtracting 2 gives me 3e to the x equals negative 2. Dividing both sides by 2, I have e to the x power equals 3 over 2. Dividing by 3, that's e to the x equals negative 2 over 3. One of these I immediately know will have no solution. What am I talking about? Yeah, this negative 2/3 is not going to work out. There's no power that's going to turn e into a negative number. But we can work the other side. So this should be, in log form, will be natural log of 3 over 2 is equal to x. So this will be the answer if you don't have a scientific calculator. All right, that's what you would put. If you do have a scientific calculator, can somebody give me the decimal version?
0.4055.
What 055? 0.4055. Let's do one more example. Try to factor this thing. So, let me switch to blue. Oh, already on blue. If we try to factor this, my first guess for this is going to be 2 and 4. So this would be 2e to the 2x power times 4e to the 2x power. Okay? And then I've got 7, which can only be 1 times 7. Now the order matters, so if it doesn't work out with 1 and 7, I will try 7 and 1. If neither one of those work out, then I will go back and mess around with 8 and 1 instead of 2 and 4. So I got a lot of options to play around with. But inner plus outer must equal the middle. So right now, inner, I have 4e to the 2x power. And outer, I have 14e to the 2x power. This is not going to make 15. There's no way to make 15 out of this. So that's a fail so far. Before I give up on it, I will try switching the 1 and the 7 to 7 and 1. That will make the inner 28. That's not going to be it. The outer would be 2. Okay, so that means the 2 and the 4 option is a fail. So I'm going to have to go back and do, instead of 2 and 4, I'm going to have to go back and do 1 and 8. All right, 1 times 8. Okay, well this is not looking too good right now. This would be 56, so you know that's nonsense. All right, so I'll put the 1 and 7 again. So I'll put the 1 here and the 7 here. Inner plus outer must equal middle. Inner, I have 8 e to the 2x power. Outer, I've got 7 e to the 2x power. This does make 15. I need a negative 15 though, so that means both of these would have to be negative, which means that both of these would have to be negative. And negative 1 times negative 7 does give me positive 7. So, kabam, we got it. Okay, so we factored it. Now we have to set each one of these factors equal to 0. So e to the 2x minus 1 power equals 0, and 8e to the 2x minus 7 equals 0. This will be e to the 2x equals 1, and 8e to the 2x equals 7. Dividing both sides by 8, this will be e to the 2x is equal to 7/8. Rewriting this in log form, this would be natural log of 1 is equal to 2x. And this is going to be natural log of 7/8 is equal to 2x. Dividing both sides by 2, I will get natural log of 1 divided by 2 is equal to, whoops, I'm thinking ahead. I'm giving away hints, y'all. So that will equal x. And this, I will have natural log of 7/8 divided by 2 is equal to x. All right, normally I would just leave the answer like this. But natural log of 1, natural log of 1 can easily be evaluated in like 0.5 seconds. What is the natural log of 1? 0. Okay? Remember, this is like having log base e of 1. Okay? And a log is an exponent. What's the exponent that turns e into 1? It's the same exponent that turns everything into 1. 0. Okay? So this numerator is 0, which means that the entire fraction is 0. So this is really 0 over 2 equals x. So that means 0 is equal to x. Okay? Yeah, so we have x equals 0 is one solution. And x equals natural log 7/8 divided by 2 is the other solution. Did anyone find a decimal for this? This one? Negative 0.06 something. Give me 4 decimals. 0.0667. Okay. All right, so if you did not have a scientific calculator, you would have stopped with this previous version. If you do, you could go to this. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Go ahead and click here in the red apple to watch the next video. Click in the green apple to subscribe, or click the yellow apple for the full playlist.